I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to brief the gathering about the 4-day sessions and to give the his introductory remarks. And also, I request Professor B.S. Murthy Garu, Director IIT, to act as a able moderator of this session.
Brahmendra Vandita Padambuja Shankhapade Srimat Sudarshana Susobhita Divyahasta Karunya Sagara Manojna Supunyamurte Shri Venkatesha Mamadehi Karavalambam Shri Venkatesha Mamadehi Karavalambam. My sincere pranams to the galaxy of scientists and scholars who are on the dais now. We are very fortunate enough because of the gracious favor of Lord Sri Venkateshwara and also the affectionate support of the officials of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams. We are able to organize this 4-day Vishwa Vaidika Vijnana Sammelanam very successfully. Not just a success. In every session, every speaker's contribution is very wonderful, very useful, much guiding, and also helpful for us all to set certain directions towards the expectations of UGC through IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems. In such a way, it has been organized well, and now we are in the fag end of our exercise of this 4-day conference. This is the penultimate session, panel discussion. After this, we have the valedictory. And in this panel discussion, we have certain thoughts to have before all of us for a planned future. In this attempt, I would like to present before all the respected members the thoughts which have been churned during these 4 days, and for which this conference has been organized. That also we are going to present. And actually, it is a general practice in the world of learned members, that is in the world of universities, to conduct a conference and afterwards expressing thanks and going home and forgetting about that conference. It is usual practice. But this conference, the aim of this conference is different. This is just like the beginning of an academic year in the calendar of a university. This is the beginning of an academic collaboration of like-minded scientists and Sanskrit scholars to take up many useful pursuits for the welfare of the human planet. So in this attempt, during these 4 days, what have been discussed, I will place before the learned members, and further we will think of how we can actualize all these thoughts and how we can move forward. Particularly, our intention is to come into MOU or MOUs with all the like-minded scientific and most premier scientific institutions and also the Sanskrit world. Particularly here in this panel discussion, earlier, day before yesterday, we sat together, some of the heads of the institutions who were there yesterday and day before yesterday, and they were not here today. Along with them we sat, and some suggestions were there. Along them, Professor Jetty Paul, he is the secretary of Veda Vidya Pratishthan, which is in Ujjaini, with the help of which every Vedic institution, Vedic learning institution in the country got benefited. And he mentioned that Asmakam Chintanam Chhatranam Krute Paricetavyam. Whatever we want to think, that should reach the students. That is the first thing. If we think, we may feel that we are in the field of IKS, but our children also should be in the field of IKS for that sake. Similarly, there should be the certain very small book series should be there, introducing each branch of discipline of knowledge of our ancient system. It should be certain times without any comparison with modern thoughts. As it is, let us introduce in simple words in regional languages as well as in Sanskrit and also in English if possible and if it is required. Let us produce certain small booklets introducing various disciplines of knowledge, and that knowledge will be useful for all. In later times, it can be introduced in the syllabus. It is his second advice. Similarly, Prafulla Kumar Mishra ji, he is the Chancellor of Rajendra Nagar Agricultural University, and he is the Chairman of Maharshi Sandipani Veda Vidya Pratishthan Ujjain. So his contribution to the field of Sanskrit, to the field of Veda, and to the field of modern sciences is great. That's why we are fortunate enough to be with us. He has mentioned two things. Database of Vedic studies is to be produced. So that is one idea. And then manuscripts preservation also should be given appropriate importance in the process of working for IKS. And these are the two thoughts. Similarly, Professor Premraj from Nepal, he has left this morning to his country. He had three thoughts. Vichara Samikaranam. We have to collect the thoughts of all the scientists and all the scholars through different means and through different meetings also, he said. And similarly, Vichara Pratipadanam. So, having collected such thoughts, we have to place them before a council or a committee for scrutinizing and for concentrating on a deep analytical study. Third one is Pathanakrama Manthanam. So we have to churn all the lessons and also the syllabi which we are going to introduce in the name of IKS, and whatever is essence that is to be produced. Similarly, another thought also of Jettipal is the reconstruction of textbooks. It is not of Jettipal, it is by Professor Ramasubramaniam, professor in IIT Mumbai. He said that reconstruction of our ancient text is very much essential. So now whatever text is available, that is available with some certain typographic mistakes, and certain times the communication gap also is there. That's why reconstruction of accurate textbooks also is very much essential, he said. These are the few points, and our idea also is there, and I am going to present MOUs with premier scientific institutions and like-minded Sanskrit and Vedic universities. This one, and we can develop some small projects also, taking certain short-term projects can also be developed with the scientific institutions and our institutions, and frequent workshops and planning meetings also is required. These are a few thoughts, and from the blue sky we started our search, and I request respected members under the able moderatorship of Professor B.S. Murthy garu to draw certain conclusions, and I am requesting B.S. Murthy garu.
Sorry, I cannot speak in Sanskrit the way my friend Professor Murthy garu is able to speak. So let me have a guest here.
वयं तत्र अस्माकं प्रियतमाः मार्गदर्शकाः ज्येष्ठाः तत्र आचार्य SR कृष्णमूर्ति महाभागाः नेशनल संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटी तस्य कुलपतयः तानपि अत्र आगच्छन्तु इति आह्वयामः.
So I request everyone to please settle down. Murthy garu has given a very tough time task for me. So 12:15 he wants this particular session to be completed. So we have almost more than 10 people here. So I would request each of you to be very brief. So we'll start from one end to see if each of you in about 2 to 3 minutes time give your views on how do we move forward. I think that should be our goal. Each of us have been doing what we think is the best, but on an individual capacity we have been doing. Now it is time that we should start thinking of how do we jointly do things which will lead to the glory of our Vedic sciences, to reach out to every student. For example, you just mentioned about it. So how do we address the younger generation and make them excited about the Vedic sciences, for example? That is something I think we should take it up. My request is introduce yourself and then. Internal. Okay. So we will then start with Raju garu. So he wants the external people to spend the time first and then we go to the internal. Thank you. Maybe about 3 minutes time, sir.
Yeah. Professor Murthy, Professor Sharma, and Professor Rao, and the illustrious panel members. I am Raghuram Raju. I teach philosophy at IIT Tirupati. I'm extremely thankful for this invitation. I wanted to make 3 brief points. One is, ఇప్పుడు ఉన్న పరిస్థితుల్లో one of the things that we require is to find out who are the people who denied the status of knowledge to Sanskrit. And that is something, మన ప్రత్యర్థుల గురించి మనకు అవగాహన లేకపోతే మనం చేసేదన్నీ కూడా ఎలాంటిది అవుతుందంటే ప్రశ్న తెలియకుండా సమాధానం రాసినట్టు అవుతుంది. దీనికి నాకు ఉదాహరణ ఎవరంటే శ్రీ ఆదిశంకరాచార్యుడు. ఆదిశంకరాచార్యుడు తన ప్రత్యర్థి అయిన it is important to know who is our opponent who denied us the status of knowledge. Unless we know who is my opponent, effort will be like writing an answer without knowing the question. Now, the inspiration for this comes from Adi Shankaracharya, because he spent large part of his time in knowing about his opponent. And that is the reason why he was enormously successful. So I think that's my first point. My second point is to find out that I find Tirupati is one of the unique place in the world where you have two Sanskrit universities and along with one IIT and one IISER. I think that combination is unique in the country, and we have to make a maximum use of it to kickstart off. It is not only people who are in these institutions, but it should become a child tree, a very active child tree for all the people who wanted to work, along these teams, who will be given facility, who will be given, resources to do the work. And we are very fortunate to be at the foothill of Lord Venkateshwara. That's the thing. As the suggestion by IIT Bombay professor, I think it is very important to reconstruct our knowledge systems in keeping the modern idiom in mind. And that will make, it is not modifying, it is restating the same ideas in a modern idiom, so that the connectivity with the present generation, particularly with students and public, is made very, very vibrant. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Rajgaru. You have rightly pointed out it is important to know who are the people whom we should address. Very, very important. Now I request Professor Raghav Garu, again from IIT Tirupati, Professor Raghav Rao from IIT Tirupati, to say his views.
Respected co-panel members and dignitaries sitting in the audience, Pranam. At the outset, I thank for this opportunity. So out of the first point they mentioned was reaching out to the students. Yes, it is very important to reach out for the students because they are the future. At the moment, previously it was more stress was given for them to develop their IQ, intellectual coefficient. Later, even corporates have started realizing the importance of emotional coefficient. Now time has come to encourage to build up spiritual coefficient. So with this spiritual intelligence, they can live a better life. So parents themselves are putting pressure on them to be successful. The success defined in their terms is to earn more, perhaps more than their peers, more than their higher package compared to relatives, but in a short time. If this is instant age, everything want to be instant. In this bargain, if you look at the basics from our scriptures, it is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. If moksha is not dropped for the time being, at least artha and kama should be pursued without compromising dharma. That is where which we have to inculcate, educate our students in this aspect. Second thing, some honorable members suggested small booklets. It is very much essential. Unfortunately, most of the students and kids, they are learning from our scriptures through comics. It is nothing wrong, but it is a very primitive literature. Instead, learned experts who are sitting in the panel and Vedic universities, they should contribute to authentic books because comics are prone for error. That is required. Then MOUs, certainly. So to start with Tirupati itself, we have both modern science institutions as well as ancient Vedic knowledge-based institutions like Vedic University and Sanskrit University. Certainly there should be more interaction. Efforts are going on, but some more is required. What is happening is not enough. So everybody is, now the buzzword is IKS. Maybe the IKS itself should be renamed as Bharati Vijnana Samskriti or some equivalent word for system. So IKS itself is a foreign word, Indian. So this is my humble submission to the August gathering. Parampara, Bharati Vijnana Parampara. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Rao. Rightly said that we need to move from an IQ to a spiritual quotient among our students. Very important idea. I now request Professor Mishra to give his views, please.
Namaste bhai, Manya Adhyakya. Since the house is full with good galaxy of scholars from IIT and other technology, so I like to speak in English. Kindly excuse me. I am agree with all the opinions of Professor Raju from IIT Tirupati to find out the opponents. But opponents are two types. One is scientist and the other is the communist. Those who are entrusted to destroy this country and this the norm of Indianness. So, in this context, I would like to say, let us identify who are the players in the field of Indian scientific research. Those who are doing, our Professor Murthy ji, Rani Sir Murthy Vice Chancellor was telling about whether IKS has developed any database for the research on Indian science world, or those who are the players in this field. Let us identify them first. Number two is, if we identify, then we develop one common platform, whether virtual or anything else that you all know. So a common platform will unite that those who are interested, and number two is, accordingly one interface will be made. Secondly, the motivation, that is most important. Time and again he mentions Jatipal, not only him, but our Prime Minister is also very much interested to tell that let us motivate them first. So they have started motivating IIT students, not only IIT, but also from primary level. Our students need to be, one example I will give, because we are people of literature. One example I will give. People are writing science books. Suppose iron is available in that book. All the countries will written in India will be in the last in the list. What I have seen in I have marked it very painfully from my childhood that they will write Bharat in the end of the list, which is very much, we have always Eurocentric temperament. So we have to undo. It is very important to undo Eurocentric sentiment from the minds of the students of technology or colleges or schools. So for that, one prasikshana for the teachers training is necessary for that. The teachers be motivated in that regard, that let us start from our roots. We are always starting from Aristotle or Plato or anything else, but let us start from the Veda. The third point is a group be formed in a very small group, nucleus group, under the headship of our Vice Chancellor and our Director of IIT Hyderabad. I congratulate them that Indian heritage course he has started. Those courses should be the ideal course for all other technological institutes, let them be suggested to start the course or by any university, and that will also promote scholars like students like us, that we are also thinking in the same frame. Though we have no technological know-how and we are not expert in technology. So that is why how the persons who are scholars in Veda, in Agamas, in other Shastras, they will be exposed to science. That is most important, because they will show the path, they will point out, they will dig the mine, and that then only it will be utilized by the scientists. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have rightly said. I always used to talk with my friend who is a Sanskrit scholar about this need of having an institution where, for example, in the morning you read the ancient Shastras, and in the afternoon you read the modern science, so that we should be able to create students who are knowledgeable in both and be able to correlate both and understand where does the interface exist between the both. I remember when he is talking of identifying, and Rajgaru also was talking about the so-called opponents. When I had my friend visiting IIT Madras long back, when I was at IIT Madras, and giving what is called extramural lecture on Indian heritage, it was almost like all our professors of IIT Madras, many of them, almost ragged him, if I can use that word, because they don't believe. They don't believe that there is something called Indian heritage that exists. These are all Indians, friends. These are all our own brothers and sisters. We have come to a level not to disown our own knowledge, to not accept that there is something called an Indian knowledge system that existed. We have reached that kind of a state, and it is important that we address them rather than kind of hide from them, and address them in their own language, which is the modern language, through a lot of what I would say proofs and experiments. That's why I mostly focused on that aspect. This is very, very important. And anything that, people like you, if you come and address the so-called scientists in these IITs, this issue comes. So I will pause. Professor Murthy Garu wants to say something in the direction I am giving. Yeah. So I will also ask Professor Krishnamurthy Garu to give his views on how do we. So it's important, as I rightly said, that we come together and form such kind of an institution. I always used to dream of an institution where, while Vedic sciences are taught during that half of the day, remaining half of the day you should study the modern science. Can we have an institution like that? And now it is not very difficult, thanks to, as I told you, the virtual way of teaching. We can sit in IIT and teach. Somebody can sit in, Ujjaini and teach here. So all these things are possible. Certain more teaching can happen in a physical way. Certain teaching can happen in a virtual way, or a hybrid way, all in that. But what is important is to create that kind of a generation who have knowledge of both these, and who understand the importance of having both the knowledge and to grow together. Thank you, sir.
Savaya Namaha. I fully support the decision taken by our director Krishnamurthy ji. Just like Sukle Vedamadhita Srinivasan ji, sorry. Okay. Director, sir. Srinivasan ji, sorry. I fully support Krishna Sukle Vedamadhita Sukle Krishna Angamadhita Yavan Rupena Tapura Masit. वेदांगानां विषये द्विधा विभागः मूलं तु शुक्लपक्षे अध्येतव्यम् और अंगानि च कृष्णपक्षे अध्येतव्यानि इति अधुना यभि श्रीनिवासराव महोदयैः कथितं तैः तत्र प्राचीनपरम्परानुसारम् अध्ययनं प्रातःकाले वेदिक सैन्सेस् and modern sciences madhyane evan rupena simultaneously we can establish an institution for this type of this only, then our discussion will be fruitful and implemented. I think this is my remarks in this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request the professors from this university to share their ideas, maybe 1 to 2 minutes each. We'll start from here, sir. Professor Umesh.
Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity. SV Vedic University, since from the beginning, achieved in different ways. As I know from 2009, as my observation, the university started as a center for Veda Science Research in 2014, when I was the coordinator of that center. In that year only, we conducted courses for the students, discovery of scientific knowledge hidden in the Veda and allied subject for 30 days program. The main objective of this program is to give the knowledge to the students of this university, because they are from different wings and they are studying different subjects in this university. They are going after they completing their course Acharya MA from here. Not only they should go with the knowledge of that traditional knowledge, they should know the scientific knowledge also what they are studying in this class. Even we gave the awareness of the teachers also at that time. Group discussion and all this we made, and that discussion, while teaching the subject, the teacher also concentrate on the scientific method. What are the things what they are teaching? They should give some glimpse of the scientific attitude among the students. So in that time I remember our Vice Chancellor, present Vice Chancellor of the Rani Sadashivamurthy Garu, was the main pillar to organize this conference to the students for 30 days. And many eminent scholars invited, and they have given the presentation from in front of the students. Even DRDO Surya Satish ji also visited, and he himself already. In the same way, why I am telling this one is, we can give the knowledge to the students in this university by organizing some workshop and inviting eminent scholars before the students and encouraging their study, what they are studying, not only simply making Paurohitya and other Karmakanda and other only teaching. These are not the professions, and some selected interest students, not for all. We can make 30-20 students, interested students group, and give 30-40 days the short-term course to the students. This one I am thinking, and I took more time to share my knowledge, share my opinion. Sorry for the same thing.
Thank you very much, Umesh Garu. Next I will request Professor.
नमस्ते सर. आदौ अहम् आन्ध्रभाषायां वदामि, तदनन्तरम् एतेषाम् अवगमनार्थं सारः मया संस्कृतभाषायाम् उच्यते. सर, నేను ఫ్యాకల్టీ ఆఫ్ పౌరోహిత్యకి డీన్గా ఉన్నాను. పౌరోహిత్య అంటే ఇంతఃపూర్వం మీరు చెప్పినట్లుగా హోమం, ఆ హోమాల్లో ఏమేమి వాడతారు, ఆ సాధనాలు ఏమిటి, వాటి వల్ల కలిగేటటువంటి ప్రయోజనం ఏమిటి అనేది ఒక ఆస్పెక్ట్. రెండవది, మేము చాలా పాత్రలు వాడుతూ ఉంటాం. మీరు మెటలర్జీ ఇది కాబట్టి చెప్తూ ఉన్నాను. చాలా పాత్రలు వాడతాం. అంటే కొన్నిసార్లు కంచు పాత్రలో తేనె, పెరుగు, నెయ్యి ఇవన్నీ వేసి కలిపి పిల్లవాడికి తాగించమని చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం వివాహంలో కూడా మధుపర్కం ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు ఓ కంచు పాత్రలో ఇవన్నీ వేసి ఇమ్మని చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. కొన్నిసార్లు కంచు పాత్ర వాడాల్సిన అవకాశం ఉన్నా కొన్ని మట్టి పాత్రలోనే చేయమని చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. కొన్నిసార్లు సువర్ణ పాత్ర వాడమని చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. అలాగే పుంసవనం అనే ఒక సంస్కారం ఉంది. గర్భం వచ్చిన 3వ నెలలో చేయాల్సిన సంస్కారం అది. అక్కడ మర్రి చెట్టు యొక్క పండ్లు తీసుకొచ్చి దాని చిగురు కూడా తీసుకొచ్చి ఆ చిగురుని బాగా దంచి అమ్మాయి యొక్క కుడి ముక్కులో పోయమని చెప్తారు. దానివల్ల గర్భశుద్ధి జరుగుతుంది. పుమాంసమేవ జనయతి అంటూ పురుషుడే పుడతాడు అనేటువంటిది అథెంటిక్గా ఋషులు చెప్పారు. సో ఇది ఖచ్చితంగా నిజమై ఉంటుంది. బట్ దాంట్లో ఉండేటువంటి విజ్ఞానం ఏమిటి? అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం సీమంతం, ఉపనయనం వీటిల్లో కూడా ఏదుపంది ముళ్ళు తీసుకొచ్చి దాంతో ఆ సీమంతాన్ని అంటే పాపిటని రేగొట్టమని చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. అక్కడే మేము దర్భలు కూడా వాడతాం, మేడి పళ్ళ గుత్తి వాడుతూ ఉంటాం. సో వీటిల్లో వైజ్ఞానికత ఖచ్చితంగా ఉంది అని ఎలా చెప్తున్నాము అంటే ఆయుర్వేదాన్ని చూస్తే ఎన్నో విషయాలు ఉంటూ ఉన్నాయి. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క పదార్థంలో ఒక్కొక్క వైశిష్ట్యం ఉన్నది. ఈ పదార్థాలన్నీ కలిపి వాడుతున్నప్పుడు ఈ వైశిష్ట్యం ద్విగుణీకృతం అవుతోంది. 2 పదార్థాల యొక్క సమ్మేళనం జరిగినప్పుడు, అంటే ఎప్పుడైతే పెరుగు, తేనె కలుపుతామో అప్పుడు ఇంకొంచెం వైశిష్ట్యం పుడుతుంది అని చెప్పారు శాస్త్రకారులు. ఇట్లా ఇప్పుడు తేనె, పెరుగు కలిపేటప్పుడు కూడా శాస్త్రంలో తేనె ఎక్కువ కలపాలి, పెరుగు తక్కువ కలపాలి అన్నారు. సమానంగా కలిపితే విషమవుతుంది అని చెప్పింది శాస్త్రం. సో ఇలాంటి విషయాల్లో ఒకవేళ ఈ సెమినార్ని ఆధారం చేసుకుని భవిష్యత్తులో ఈ కర్మల్లో జరిగేటటువంటి పాత్రలని వాడేటువంటివి దర్భ వాడుతూ ఉంటాము. ఇంకా చాలా దర్భ తాడు కూడా కడతాం. ప్రాణాపానాభ్యాం బలమాభరంతి అంటోంది వేదం. సో ఇటువంటి విషయాల్లో మనం భవిష్యత్తులో చేయగలిగితే అది కూడా విసి గారి యొక్క మార్గదర్శకత్వంలో
రిచువలిస్టిక్ సైంటిఫిక్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ రిచువలిస్టిక్ ప్రాక్టీసెస్ దాని మీద
సైంటిఫిక్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్
ఇది సామాన్య మానవులకు కూడా వెళ్ళి చేరుతుంది సార్. ఈ మనం కొన్ని మాట్లాడుకునేవి గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్కే ఉపయోగపడేటువంటివి కొన్ని ఉంటాయి. బట్ ఇది అట్లా కాదు. ఎవ్రీ సింగిల్ పర్సన్ ఈ దేశంలోనే కాదు ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్నటువంటి వాడికి మనం అందించగలుగుతాం దీని ఫలాన్ని. సో అప్పుడు వేదిక్ నాలెడ్జ్ సామాన్యుడికి అందుతుంది. వేదిక్ యూనివర్సిటీ యొక్క స్థాపన లక్ష్యం కూడా పూర్తవుతుంది అని నేను పరిపూర్ణంగా నమ్ముతూ ఉన్నాను.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. Very important aspect you brought out. Many a times we take them as granted, these rituals. There is definitely every small aspect of these rituals, there is science behind it, and there is a need to understand them and bring it to the common man so that he does not just like that do it without understanding, but with a lot of understanding. Thank you, sir. Next, please. I request you to tell your name and then go ahead. I'm sorry.
My name is Yazulu, Dr. Yazulu. I am working as the Dean of Veda faculty. I want to place only one thing before you, that is, without practical knowledge, there is no use of theoretical knowledge. So, for the welfare of mankind, we have to take the commodity out by some this practical knowledge only. For that, we have to establish some laboratories and work accordingly. Then only this knowledge will be useful to the welfare of the mankind. That is my submission, sir. Thank you.
That is where people like us can be useful, sir, because we have, just to tell you one small thing, sir. and principal scientific advisor to Government of India, has brought out a portal which is called iSTEM. And on that web portal, any institute like iSTEM, STEM, Science and Technology, Engineering and Medicine, iSTEM, okay? So on the iSTEM portal, any institute like IIT Tirupati or IIT Hyderabad or so, they can put the equipment that they have, the lab facilities that you have on the portal, so that anybody in the country can use them, okay, by booking a slot. So there will be, this is the equipment, this is what it can do, this is the professor in charge, this is the email address of the professor. This whole information will be available. What IIT Hyderabad has done is 480 equipment of our IIT Hyderabad, we have put it on the iSTEM portal. There is no institute which has done to that much number. So what we believe is, whatever we have, let everybody in the country use it. And in that context, this kind of experiments that I told, we have recently sent a group of our people, when in Mysore one big yajna was going on, to go and understand that and bring samples from that, the gas samples also, to study those gas samples, to understand what are the, the particles inside the gas, okay? Is there anything which can cause certain good thing for the human beings around that? Or it could rain we were talking about. So these are all possible. And in fact, to utilize those facilities, recently we started bringing students from NITs. Below the IITs, there is next level called NITs, National Institute of Technologies. This year we have 50 NIT students who have come after completing 3 years of BTech in their college. The whole 4th year they are spending at IIT Hyderabad. They just completed and went. What was the need of doing that? We said, let us inculcate research interest among the students. Let them use these 480 or 500 equipment and get interested in research. This way we thought there will be more and more use of these facilities, more and more research interest. This year in 24, we are increasing this number to 100. So that from every NIT, we bring at least 10 students and make them. We are also collaborated with Kathmandu University in Nepal. 10 students of Kathmandu University spent their 1 full year of undergraduation at IIT Hyderabad. This year we are making it into 20. So our goal is to make sure that the younger generation gets interested more and more into this science. That is our goal. And as you rightly said, this is very important. Thank you. Yes, sir.
నా పేరు రామకృష్ణ. నేను ఆగమ విభాగానికి డీన్గా పనిచేస్తున్నాను. వేదాలు అలానే ఆగమాలు ఇతర పురాణాది శాస్త్రాల్లో సైంటిఫిక్ అంశాలు అనేకమైనవి ఎన్నో ఉన్నాయి అని చెప్పి అందరూ ఒప్పుకుంటున్నటువంటి విషయమే. కానీ పూర్వంలో వాళ్ళందరూ వాటిని ఎలా సాధించారు, ఎవరన్నా గొప్ప గొప్ప అస్త్రశస్త్రాలు అందులో చేసినా, అలాగే ఏ ఇతర విషయాలైనా సరే మన ఋషులు గ్రహణాదులు ఎప్పుడొస్తున్నాయని చెప్పినా, ఇదంతా కూడా వారి యొక్క వైదిక జీవన పద్ధతిలో ఆచరణ చేస్తూ తపస్సంపన్నులై వాళ్ళు ఆ విషయాలు సాధిస్తూ వచ్చారు. కాబట్టి వైదిక జీవనం అనేటువంటిది ప్రజల్లోకి బాగా తీసుకువెళ్ళేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం చేయాలి. వైదికులుగా వైదిక ధర్మాన్ని పూర్తిగా అనుసరిస్తూ ఈ విషయాలను మనం గట్టిగా పట్టుకున్నట్టయితే అప్పుడు ఆచరణలో ఇది సాధ్యపడుతుంది. పూర్వం వాళ్ళు ఆ రకంగా ఉన్నారు. ఒక అర్జునుడు తపస్సు చేసి ఆ అస్త్రశస్త్రాలు సాధించారన్నారు. ఇది చదువు వల్ల, విజ్ఞానం బాగా పెరగడం వల్ల, ఒక్కొక్క విషయం ఇలా ఉందని తెలియడం వల్ల, ఇప్పుడు గ్రహణం వస్తుందని తెలియడం వల్ల ఆ విషయాలు వాళ్ళకి ఎలా తెలిసినాయి అని మనం ఆలోచిస్తే, వాళ్ళకు ఉన్నటువంటి యోగ శక్తి కానీ, వాళ్ళ ఆచరణ బలం కానీ, వాళ్ళు చేసినటువంటి ఆ రోజు చేసినటువంటి ఆ కృషి కానీ చాలా గొప్పది. అట్లాంటి విద్యార్థులలో ఆ రకమైన జీవన పద్ధతుల్ని తీసుకొచ్చేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం వైదికమైన విధానాలని ప్రజల్లోకి తీసుకెళ్లేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం చేసినప్పుడు వీటి శాస్త్రీయతకి ఫలితాలు వస్తాయి. లేకపోతే అది కేవలం పుస్తకాల్లోనూ సెమినార్లోనే మిగిలిపోతుంది అని అనిపిస్తుంది.
Thank you. So for my friend Mishraji and many others who may not understand Telugu, let me just translate a bit of what Ramakrishna Garu has said. Olden days, all the knowledge that we are all talking about now, which is called the Vedic knowledge, has been done by people who used to do a regular Vedic way of living. Okay, they were grihasthas. At the same time, they had immense knowledge and they meditated on that knowledge, and a lot of great things came out of it. So it is important that that kind of a way of living need to be inculcated in current day life also, and bring out excellent knowledge through such a way of living is what Ramakrishna Garu is pointing out, and very rightly said, sir. Thank you very much. Correct. And obviously such a balanced way of living will lead to great knowledge.
नमस्कारः. रामकृष्ण सोमयाजी इति मम नाम. वेदभाष्यम् अध्यापयामि. సభకి నమస్కారం. లోకంలో విజ్ఞానము వేదంలో నుంచి ఆవిర్భవించింది అని, ప్రతి అంశము వేదంలో ఉంది అని ఒక ప్రసిద్ధి ఉంది. వేదము మంత్రము, బ్రాహ్మణము అని రెండు భాగాలుగా ఉంది. ఏ కార్యక్రమం, ఏ సంస్కారం, ఏది ఎలా చేసినా, ఏ పని ఎలా చేయాలో తెలుసుకునే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నా దాన్ని వేదాల వల్లే మనం తెలుసుకోగలుగుతాం. వేదాల్లో సూటిగా చెప్పే కొన్ని అంశాలు ఉంటాయి. పరోక్షంగా వేరే సందర్భంలో వేరే మాటలతో చెప్పే అంశాలు కొన్ని ఉంటాయి. సూటిగా చెప్పే విషయాల్ని ఎవరైనా గ్రహించగలుగుతారు. అలా తెలియని వాటిని మహర్షులు అక్కడక్కడ ఉన్న వాటిని కూడా పరిశీలించి దాన్ని సారాంశాన్ని స్మృతులుగా, మిగతా ఉపదేశాల రూపంలో సూత్రాలుగా అందించడం జరిగింది. ఇటువంటి వాటిల్లో దేనిలోనైనా వేదం చెప్పింది మనం చెయ్యాలంటే, వేదంలో చెప్పిన మంత్రాల్ని చదవాలి అంటే అందులో ఏముందో ఆ అంతరార్థం గ్రహించాలి. ఇది అవగాహన కోసం ఒకటి. రెండు, అందులో దాగి ఉన్న మర్మం కోసం. దానిలో ఉన్న మర్మం ఏదో వంట పడితే అది ఏదో మొక్కుబడిగా చేతులు దులుపుకోవడం కోసం చేసే పని కాకుండా పూర్తిగా వంట పట్టించుకుని అక్షరాల 100కి 100% న్యాయం జరిగేలాగా మనం పాటించగలుగుతాం. అలా పాటించాలి అంటే అది మన బుద్ధికి బాగా పట్టాలి. అది మన బుద్ధికి పట్టాలంటే దాన్ని బాగా విశ్లేషించుకుని మనం విశదీకరించుకోవాలి. దీనికి ఉపయోగించే సబ్జెక్ట్ వేద భాష్యం. ఈ వేద భాష్యాలు కల్పసూత్రాలు, పురాణాలు, ఇతిహాసాలు, కావ్యాలు, స్మృతులు వీటన్నింటినీ గ్రహించి దానితో పాటుగా ఈ వేదంలో చెప్పినటువంటి అంశాన్ని ఏకత్రితం చేయడం అంటారు. అంటే ఒకటిగా చేయగలిగితే, ఒక ఇంట్లో అమ్మ చెప్పిన మాట, నాన్న చెప్పిన మాట, తాత చెప్పినది, లేకపోతే ఇంకా గురువులు చెప్పింది, అన్నింటికీ సారాన్ని గ్రహించి మనం పాటించగలిగిన నాడు అది 100కు 100% సత్ఫలితాన్ని ఇచ్చినట్లుగా ఈ వేదభాష్యంలో చెప్పిన విషయాల్ని ఆకళింపు చేసుకుని లోకానికి అందించే ప్రయత్నం జరగాలి. దానిలో ఒక్క మాట నేను ముగిస్తాను. ఒక చోట మహర్షి ఒక గొప్ప ఫలితాన్ని సాధించాలి అంటే ఒకలా ఉండాలి నీ దినచర్య అని చెప్తారు. ఉదిత ఏవ తీర్థే స్నాత్వా శుచి ప్రయత బ్రహ్మచారి శుక్లవాసాహ అని మొదలుపెట్టి, ఒకటి సాధించాలి అనుకున్నవాడు ఎప్పుడు లేవాలి, ఎలాంటి నీళ్లలో స్నానం చేయాలి, ఏ సమయంలో చేయాలి, ఎలాంటి వస్త్రాలు కట్టుకోవాలి, ఎటువంటి నియమాలతో ఉండాలి అని చెప్పారు. ఇంకొక చోట వేదం చెప్తుంది, దర్భాణం మహత్ ఉపస్థీర్య ఉపస్థం కృత్వా ప్రాంగ్ ఆసీన అని మొదలుపెట్టి చెప్పింది. అంటే మనం కూర్చునేటప్పుడు ఎటువంటి ఆసనం ఉండాలి, ఆ సిట్అవుట్ ఉండాల్సినటువంటి తీరు, వీడు ఏ దిశకి తిరిగి వీడి సాధన జరపాలి, లేకపోతే ఆ సమయంలో ఇతడు ఈ స్టేటస్ అంటారు కదా, కూర్చొని నుంచొని నడుస్తూ పరిగెడుతూ మాట్లాడుతూ ఇటువంటి అవస్థలలో ఏ స్థితిలో ఉండి ఇది నిర్వహించాలి, ఇదంతా చెప్పారు. ఇప్పటి వరకు జరుగుతున్నది పెద్దవాళ్ళు చెప్పారు, మేం చేస్తున్నాము అని మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. కానీ ఇప్పటి రోజుల్లో సందేహం కలిగితే ఎందుకు ఇలా చెయ్యాలి అని సమాధానం చెప్పగలిగితే అవతల వ్యక్తికి సులువుగా ఇది బుద్ధికి ఎక్కుతుంది. అలా చెప్పగలగాలంటే ఆధునిక విజ్ఞానాన్ని కూడా సహకారంగా తీసుకుని ఒక సేతువుని ఏర్పరచుకుని ఈ ప్రాచీన విద్యల్లో సారాల్ని మనం గ్రహించాలి. దానికి మా కులపతులు ఒక సేతువు అని మేము భావిస్తాము. ఒక పెద్ద తీర్థం ఉంది, అది మనకి సరిపడా నీటిని అందించడానికి ఒక చిన్న దారి, అది ఇటువంటి దానివల్ల ప్రభావితమై దాన్ని సాధించగలము అని ఆశిస్తూ ఉపసంహరిస్తున్నాను.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
వేదభాష్యానికి స్థానం ఇవ్వాలి అనేటువంటిది. వేదభాష్యం సముచితం స్థానం దేయం వేదభాష్యానాం కృతే ఇది తత్ర సారः. అన్య విషయాస్తావత్ తత్ర సోదాహరణం అనావశ్యకం. ఏకం ఏకం వాక్యం సూచనారూపేణ దదతు. సో జస్ట్ గివ్ ది యువర్ పాయింట్స్ ఓన్లీ. The illustrations need not be. 4 more members are there. Now I introduce Professor Somadev Shatamshu. He is the Vice Chancellor of Gurukul Kangde Vishwavidyalaya of Haridwar. We can just while he...
Thank you very much for joining, sir. We are all discussing about how to work together, move forward to ensure that the younger generation particularly takes the need of understanding the Vedic sciences and trying to bring the knowledge of the Vedic sciences to the rest of the world. So each one was expressing their views in that direction. I request you also. So basically, just to summarize what Somyaji Garu has pointed out, he said that in our ancient scientists, particularly in the books such as Suktas, Smritis, Vedabhashyas, they have said certain things in a direct fashion, certain things in an indirect fashion. But understanding that can only happen when you focus on it in a proper way rather than just for the sake of learning. So that kind of a focus can come only when there is a particular way of doing. For example, in our Shastras, they say, Anukulyasya sankalpam pratikulyasya varjanam. If you really have a goal to achieve that goal, what is important, what it should be thrown out is something that is very important. He exactly said there is a way to study these Shastras to be able to inculcate those Shastras better into your life. So that was a gist of what he has said. Thank you very much, Somyaji Garu. Now I request Somadev sir, please.
ओम सर्वेषां स्वागतम. महत्सौभाग्यम यत् अद्य विश्ववैदिक विज्ञान सम्मेलन विषये अग्रे किं करणीयम् अस्माभिः अस्मिन् विषये चर्चा प्रचलति. अहं मन्ये इदानीं भारतवर्षे अनेके स्थलेषु वैज्ञानिकाः वैदिक विद्वांसश्च अस्मिन् विषये कार्यं कुर्वन्ति. कदाचित् अग्रे मन्ये दाक्षिणात्यदेशेषु अधिकः कार्यं कुर्वन्ति विद्वांसः एवं मन्ये. दक्षिणदेशे एव कुत्रापि ये कार्यं कुर्वन्तः सन्ति तेषाम् एकं सम्मेलनं भवतु. अपरं इदं प्राथम्येन अस्मिन् विषये अस्माभिः किं कार्यं, यथा पूर्वमपि अस्माभिर्विचारितम् आसीत्. याः पाण्डुलिपीनां ये ग्रन्थाः विद्यन्ते तेषु ये प्रमुखग्रन्थाः सन्ति आधुनिकवैज्ञानिकदृशा वा वैज्ञानिकदृशा वेदविज्ञानदृशा तेषां ग्रन्थानां प्रकाशनं भवतु, तेषां ग्रन्थानाम् उपरि चर्चा भवतु. तृतीयतः तेषु बिन्दुषु अस्माभिः कार्यं करणीयं यत् कार्यं जनान् साक्षात् प्रभावयति. यथा आयुर्वेदस्य अनेक महत्वपूर्णविषयाः वर्तन्ते, योगस्य वा अनेक विषयाः वर्तन्ते, तेषां विषयाणाम् उपरि पूर्वं कार्यं भवेत्. छात्राः अनया परम्परया परिचिताः स्युः अनेन प्रथमकक्षातः एव वैदिकविज्ञानविषये वैदिकचर्चाविषये यः विषय तान् वयं छात्रान् पाठयामः तेषु तेषु विषयेषु अस्माकं वैदिकसाहित्ये किं किम् उल्लिखितं वर्तते तेषां विषयाणाम् अवश्यम् अध्यापनं स्यात्। एतत् अस्माकं प्रान्तीयः सर्वकारः करोतु सर्वकारः वा करोतु अस्मिन् विषये प्रयासः अवश्यं विधातव्यं स्यात् येन अनेकशतवर्षाणां यत् आवरणम् अस्य ज्ञानस्य उपरि पतितम् अस्ति तत् अज्ञानं दूरीभवतु तत् आवरणं दूरीभवतु।
Myself, Radha Govinda Tripathi, registrar of this university. Certainly, this conference is a roadmap to work on Indian knowledge system. We know whatever the scientific elements depicted in ancient scriptures and what are the scientific elements presented before various sessions should be published in Indian languages by which a common man can know the importance of the Indian scriptures. In general, all the literatures developed in English only during the British era, all the field of knowledge, literatures are developed in English only. Just 2 years back, the government of Madhya Pradesh started that developing literature in Indian languages, just like Hindi. That basically in the field of medicine, the government of Madhya Pradesh started and also printed literature in Hindi, so that a common man can understand these scientific elements which were depicted in ancient scriptures. Thank you.
Correct. No, you have rightly said, sir, but there is a big mission in that direction happening. I want to just tell you, maybe I'll take 2 minutes on that. So, we know that even I have written books, but every time people like us write books, we write only in English. So, the question that people started asking is, if you go to Japan, if you go to Germany, if you go to China, any place, they study engineering in their own language. They study medicine in their own language. They don't study in English. Unfortunately, in India, because of the current scenario, we all try to learn this. So, but there is a big effort in that direction using modern technology. If you have heard of something called NPTEL, National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, about 15-20 years back, when a lot of private engineering colleges came who did not have good faculty members, the government of India approached IIT professors saying that you have a lot of knowledge. Why we cannot give this knowledge to the rest of the students in the private colleges? So they came to our classrooms, recorded all the lectures. 40 lectures of one full semester for one course is recorded and put on the YouTube. Now more than 2,500 such courses are available on the YouTube on every subject related to mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. These are mostly in engineering and sciences. This has been done, not on Vedic sciences, for example, but this has been done. Now what we are doing is taking that NPTEL course and using what is called speech to text. There is a technology called speech to text. If I am speaking now, this can be, the Google can immediately type what I am speaking. That is called speech to text. That speech to technology is being used to convert the whole NPTEL lecture, 40 hours of lectures, into a textbook in English to begin with. And then using machine language. Everybody is now talking of AI, ML. So using ML, they are converting it into 22 different languages. So that I have textbooks available in every language. For example, if I want to learn mechanical engineering in Telugu, every semester I do 5 courses, 8 semesters, 40 courses. If I have all these 40 courses textbook available in Telugu, then It's not difficult to teach in Telugu. So this is the direction in which we are moving, and there is definitely in 5 years down the line, there will be textbooks available in every language for every subject. Okay? So very nice point.
Add that besides the the mass media, newspapers and electronics media be utilized for popular articles regarding this. I have written one article that music therapy in Germany. Similarly, the many papers I have written, and you people are writing in very sophisticated manner, which is for the scopus and for all other for filtration.
I understand, sir.
But for public, one should be, there should be an
More
atmosphere.
popular books should come out. Yes, sir. Next to you. Radheshyam, sir.
Namaste, one and all. I am Dr. Radheshyam, Director, Faculty of Research and Publications. I submit my agreement with all the views that were expressed by my previous speakers. And also, I would like to supplement a few views to the gathering. Normally, to conduct a research, we need to select the topic and to narrow on the subject and the area of interest or like that. So when the modern scientists are eager to conduct some kind of research in the Vedic scriptures, it is a very difficult task to narrow onto the subject. So in this way, I would like to propose that Vedic University will be ready to take up a project on a comprehensive database of adjectives attributed to deities or any materials, whatever it may be. It is simply a compilation of the database. We just compile all the adjectives and they along with the references, so that and put it in the website or in the public domain. So when the scientists can scroll to all to the matters, and when they get to the some kind of adjectives, that adjective might be in the way of praise to the certain deity, or it might be contain some scientific significance also. So for choosing that type of research, it will be a good addition to the research field. And secondly, as far as manuscriptology, we teach our students who are admitted in the research programs, we teach manuscriptology. And our university is ready to offer manuscriptology to the students who are from the scientific background also, because we basically we teach to the students who are from the Sanskrit backgrounds and Vedic backgrounds, and we can customize the contents, and we can tailor-made courses also we can prepare like that, and we can offer to the students in online mode or a hybrid mode also. And secondly, thirdly, I would like to submit that the inquiry systems that should be based on the Indian inquiry system. Now, the inquiry models also should be based on the Indian systems. Like that, we say that for Vyapti, we tell that invariable concomitance. So this is called as Vyapti, and this has so to arrive at a definition or to create a definition, we should work on that model also. So in this way, our university is always, especially our faculty, is ready to offer.
Thank you very much, Radheshyam garu.
Important point. I would like to I beg 1 minute further. Recently, the IKS, Indian Knowledge System, has sanctioned me a project, a prana-based Vedic solutions. Yeah. So in the same way, I would like to propose some research topics also. Rudrabhisheka, an invincible induction of water cycle. So in that way,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Wonderfully said. In fact, one more important point is digitization of all the manuscripts should be very important, sir. This is we have to preserve. The only way to preserve is digitization. There is no other way. Scan everything and digitize. Very good. Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
तारकरामकुमारशर्मा कृष्णयजुर्वेदविभागः। तत्र सर्वैः उक्तं అస్మదీయైః మా అధ్యాపకులందరూ కూడా అనేక విషయాలు చెప్పారు, కానీ ఒక్క అభిప్రాయం నేను చెప్పి వదిలేస్తాను. ఆ రిచువల్స్లో ఉపయోగించే ద్రవ్యాలు అనేక విషయాల గురించి మాట్లాడారు, లేకపోతే ఉదయం పూట జీవన విధానం ఎలా ఉండాలి అన్నీ మాట్లాడారు. కానీ అవన్నీ మనం పరిపాలించాలంటే ఆ ద్రవ్యాలు కానీ ఆ స్నానాది జలాలు అన్నీ కూడా శుద్ధంగా ఉండాలి. ఆ వేదాల్లో ఎలా మెన్షన్ చేశారో అటువంటివి మనం ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేసినప్పుడు మాత్రమే ఆ ఫలాలు పొందగలుగుతాం, దాని మీద పరిశోధన చేసినా సరే. అందువల్ల అటువంటి పొల్యూషన్ లేనటువంటి ద్రవ్యాలని ఉత్పత్తి చేయడానికి ఇందులో చెప్పబడిన విధానాలను ప్రచారం చేస్తే అన్ని రకాల ఉపయోగాలు పొందుతాము అనేది నాకు అభిప్రాయం.
Thank you, sir. I now give it to Murthy Garu to conclude.
That the queries of the scholars, Sanskrit scholars, or whenever teaching or reading, if they come across some scientific things, they will inform this platform to certify by the scientist, and that will also be facilitated by this committee, or they will further do research or tell them that this is a topic to be taken up.
Thank you, Professor B.S. Murthy Garu, for moderating this very excellently. At the same time, I apologize in hurrying my colleagues to brief their thoughts. It is not to discourage, but to take the time into consideration only. And very valid points were mentioned by everyone. Before I conclude, I would like to, this is being watched by hundreds of people through Streamline. So that's why here Dr. Gorti Srinivas, a mathematician from Vijayawada, he has been praising every comment which is being passed here, and at the same time he had a point to be added here. Creating the universality of vision, that is one, and whatever we offer, that should be original. So originality should be maintained, and versatility also should be developed among the people who are working. Dominance in the field, strength and energy, these should be taken into consideration. So these are the points added by Dr. Gorti Srinivas from our list. So every point is very excellent, and just I summarize. In summarizing, the same cannot be expressed, but the essence is taken by me. Professor Raghuram Garu, we should know our opponents, and combination of NSU, SV Vedic, IIT, ISER and other institutions is required. This is second one. And reconstruction of IKS thoughts also is essential. These are the 3 points mentioned by you, sir. And the next one is Professor Raghavarao Garu, to encourage and build up the spiritual quotient is very much essential, he said. And small booklets concept also is supported by him. And MOUs between Bharati Vijnana Parampara, other MOUs among the institutions, scientific institutions and the Sanskrit institutions is required, and let us hereafter call it Bharati Vijnana Parampara only. It is the very thought. And Professor P.K. Mishraji, identifying the experts, motivating the students, database of IKS, teachers training in IKS, using media for writing articles, all these are the points placed by Professor Prafulla Kumar Mishraji. And after that, B.S. Murthy Garu added to teach morning IKS and sciences in the evenings is a very prime point presented by Murthy garu, and GSR Murthy garu supported the views and giving an illustration that the Shadangas are studied at one time and the Samhitas are studied at one time. Like that, we have to maintain all this. Dividing our time, we have to study. It is Umesh, but conducting workshops is essential. It is the essence of Umesh Bhattigaru's expression. And previously also, he was the coordinator for IKS activities in our Veda Vishwavidyalaya, he said. And because of his invitation, we attended those camps as the members of NSU. After that, Dr. M.V.N. Pavan Kumar Garu has given many illustrations and said that about the importance of utensils and materials and the scientific importance of ritualistic practices are very important. It is the essence of M.V.N. Pavan Kumar Garu. Yasuru Garu said we need laboratories. That's why here in this gathering, I would like to say that we are going to start some Paurohitya lab and also Agama lab very soon. They are not merely traditional, they will be modern also. So this is one of the points he mentioned. And after that, Ganjam Ramakrishna Garu said traditional practices are to be given due importance in the modern research. It is the thought of Ganjam Ramakrishna Garu. Prava Ramakrishna Garu said Veda Bhashyam should be popularized. Yes, without the popularization of Veda Bhashyams, it is not possible to understand what is the heart of the Veda. And Professor Somadev Shatamsaji, South Indian IKS group should be grouped together. And similarly, for the popularization among the students also, necessary activities should be taken care of. And earlier also, Somadev Shatamsaji's thoughts were added in the beginning, which were shared by him in our day before yesterday's meeting. And Professor Radhagovinda Tripathi says, scientific literature should be in regional languages. That is the thought of Radhagovinda Tripathi ji. Professor Radheshyam ji said compilation of Vedic scientific database of adjectives is to be given importance. Similarly, we are offering manuscriptology for our students. Hereafter, we can do it for any students also in collaboration with the previous scientific institutions. And inquiry systems also are necessary, he says. And Tarak Ramasarma Garu says procedures to be popularized. Vedic procedures are to be popularized. These are the advice extended by all the learned members of this panel discussion. We are very much thankful to them. And these are the bindus only. We need to produce a Sindhu. Just like Sagaraputras made a Sagara, like this Vijnana Sagara is to be produced by all of us. And we are very happy to have Dinesh Kamath ji with us. He is the Akhila Bharata Mantri for Samskrita Bharati. He is the heart of the activity, and we are fortunate enough to have him among with us. And in the valedictory function, we request him to join with us. This is the panel discussion. We are at the end of the panel discussion, sir. So, in the valedictory function, which is going to be commenced in a couple of minutes, we will have the opportunity and fortune of listening to your message also. So, with this, we conclude this panel discussion. This is not conclusion. This is beginning only, and for a the right acceleration of our activities. This is not a 4-day conference. This is the conference for the 4 days future, FORE4. So this is the thing. I thank everyone in person, all the dignitaries who are on the dais. Dhanyavadaha, namaskaraha.